Hi, friend. This episode, I got asked a really great question inside my 6 month training and coaching program, Courage Lab 2.0. If you don't know about it, you should totally check it out. The folks in there are getting amazing results and 10xing their investment in really short order in 12 days after joining, 2 months after joining. It's really beautiful to see all the risk that they take and the ways in which they're showing up and doing totally new things with major gifts and getting new results. So, pretty cool. And inside our recent community call and Q&A, we meet twice a month, and then they come to all of the public workshops that I do. There was a really great question about, hey, we have this donor who had agreed to give a certain amount year over year, and now they're saying that they need to give less based on everything that's happening politically and the volatility in the world. XYZ reasons. They had their reasons, right? And the question was, what would you do about that? How do you handle that? And so I share my point of view in what I do and what I've done when donors go back on their word or when they change their mind about how much they're going to donate after they made a promise. There's really two different ways to approach this. There's two different paths to take. And so I walk through that. And I know this is such a common issue, and it's coming up, especially right now, again and again and again, where there are funders who are responding to crises or to the madness that is happening in our world. And what do you do about that? It's not going to change. It's definitely not going to go away. It's not a new thing. It's not a new phenomenon. So I hope and I'm certain that this will be helpful and encouraging to you and give you a sense of how to step into leadership in your donors' lives and to take a bold approach that is really needed right now. It's really needed in our world. We need more leaders who are willing to boldly speak up and challenge the status quo and not accept the crumbs. So enjoy this.
So we have a question actually. So we had a meeting yesterday with a major donor who's a representative of a large family foundation, and they've been giving for a number of years now, and I believe 4 years now, and they have a certain amount of money of their charitable disbursement that goes to animal welfare, and they are renewing our grant from last year, so we're receiving the same amount, which is less than we were hoping for. And one thing that she mentioned is that they are pulling back, that they're giving too much to animal welfare, and that they're going to be pulling back what they're giving overall. I think in light of what's happening politically. And so my question is, I'm not sure how much of that, this is the first time we've heard that this year, but we're aware that we might hear more of that, particularly from foundations, although potentially from major individuals as well, that their priorities are shifting to, and so what would you recommend how to handle those situations?
That's a great question. Ooh, boy, I could probably write a book on this one. A really good question. So there's really two sort of paths here, right? And getting curious is the first step. So when someone says that, when they basically are going to change their mind on something, or even if they go back on their word, they commit to a pledge or something, and then they're like, oh, we changed our mind because the world changed and this is what we're doing. there's two different paths typically. There's the first path of either way, I'm getting curious and I'm finding out, is this donor, are their values just becoming more pronounced, right? When things get tough, we sort of eliminate the stuff we consider nice to have. And whatever is considered nice to have is completely subjective to that human being or that entity or that family foundation. You'd love to be able to say, oh, well, people who are invested in animal welfare, that's their number one, but that may not be the case. Or people who are invested in basic needs for human beings, we would hope that they would stick with that, right? And that may not be the case. Is it that they're having a change of heart and they are actually that's the story. They're not going to be as big of a donor because you're actually kind of finding their core values are different. Their mission isn't your mission. And that could be true, right? Or the other path is, and this is a leadership conversation, and this is the path I try to go down if there's a door, if there's an opening, is I find out, I ask and inquire about their philanthropic portfolio and how it's doing overall, right? Because if they're likely giving to lots of different places, and I try to see where do I stand. So my organization, based on where they invest, how is my nonprofit performing? And I let them tell me. Based on our results, based on all the other organizations that you fund within our niche, within animal welfare, and even within your broader scope of all of your giving, of your entire philanthropic portfolio, where do we fall? It's a different question than, are we your favorite charity? It's a question of, are we the best? Are we the most effective? And usually, I can just tell you that I asked that question because my spidey senses is the answer is yes. Now, if you're like, we haven't really done a great job of reporting, they might not be able to tell the answer to that intelligently. They may not even have the data to know. That's kind of on you. And that's really great feedback too. Like, oh, we need to do a better job of reporting the impact that they've helped us to make so that they can understand how high performing we are, so we're not on the chopping block. If they tell me, yeah, you are one of the highest performing, that's where I press in and have a lead and lead them. And I'm like, look, I get that the political landscape has changed, XYZ thing has changed. And with things becoming more volatile, it stands to reason that you should double down on the things that are working. And if we are a top performer in your portfolio, I would encourage you to reconsider. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's worth a shot finding out. Hey, may I know the reasons why? Is it because we're really just not, you have better options, basically? Because the answer is they probably don't. And so, yeah, we make decisions that are emotional, and you can kind of be their thought partner in thinking through, because you know that Flatbush Cats is the best investment if they truly care about making a difference in animal welfare. So finding out, right? what is your interest related to animal welfare? What difference, what impact are you trying to create? And they'll tell you. And then if it aligns with what you do, you're like, yeah, that's exactly what we do. That's what we've been doing, right? And here are the results. And I'd love for you to reconsider. We're basically the goats here. I've worked in places where we are the most effective, right? So I've been able to say that. Not across the board, but for sure, I know the other places that that particular donor is giving. And it's not about being disparaging, right? It's just about saying the numbers don't lie. Please, I'd love for you to go find another organization who has done what we've done and who can do what we do, the way we do it, and the speed at which we do it. And you're going to hear crickets. These are just facts. So it just, it's bold. It's bold. But of course, right? Bold leaders attract bold leaders. And some people, and you can end the conversation being curious and finding out, hey, I just really would love to better understand your thought process. We consider you a partner in our work. Would really love to have a conversation about this. And if there are ways in which we can improve how we report to you so that you better understand your impact, that's valuable feedback for us. Would love to know. Right? And then it becomes like, this is a dialogue you want to have, and you can assess in the conversation, oh, yeah, path one, they are having a change of heart, or their values are actually this. Or path two, which is they need to be led in making a better decision to align with what they say matters to them. That's what leadership is, right? It's like, does your walk match your talk? And when it doesn't, I'm going to help guide you.
I I love the I love framing everything, always bringing it back to what impact you're trying to create. Because for the group and for any discussions that any of us are having with any funder, if someone's retreating or changing priorities right now, that's a great time to go back to that question, because maybe we shouldn't be working within a shrinking pie. Maybe our contact should be pushing the foundation to increase their giving this year, since if they're in the market, they're making money right now. And like, so maybe following their values and following their desired impact means that they're giving significantly more this year than the rules say, and they have to literally go change the rules in a special vote.
That's right. If you're, when they tell you that you're exceptional, then you can say, then I'd like to be made the exception. Don't tell me I'm great. Don't do it. Be like, listen, Bob, I heard you said that you cared about this. You told me X, Y, Z. I got the receipts, Bob. You wrote it. I wrote it down. Ay, ay, ay. I listen. This is the thing, y'all. The other people that they give to, they don't even have the guts to consider what I'm offering here. They wouldn't even dare. Okay. And the idea of like, hey, I'm gonna invite you to be a person of your word. That's what kind of partner I am. Next level, baby. All of these ways, right? The audacity, the boldness, the leadership, the authenticity, the call to be integrous. These are all ways in which you stand out and you're a cut above. Competition where? I can tell you people don't do this. Because even the people who raise tens and 20 million, right? Some of them look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, oh, I'm out. I'm not doing that. But what we're seeing is that the ultra wealthy are getting wealthier. And these are the conversations that 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now, everyone is going to want to learn how to have. Do you hear what I'm saying? It is about challenging people. It is. Like, that's the invite. In this particular context with these types of people, and it's a tremendous opportunity. That's what we need people to do. I was with somebody on Friday and they had this exact scenario. He was going into a big funder meeting here in Los Angeles with a very big funder that has multi-billions in their endowment, and they have been around for decades, and I know them. And I've been in those funder meetings with this particular funder. And he said to me, Julie, I'm worried. I really hope that they're not going to go back on their word and tell me they're going to give less because of XYZ thing that's happening. And I said, hey, listen to me. Don't let them. Don't let them. They have the money. Don't let them do it. Don't let them. If they say, Sheena, actually, we're going to need to, listen here. No. We're not playing this game. I said, don't let, he said, what should I say? What do I do? I said, tell them who they are. Remind them of their identity. Remind them that decades ago, they drew a line in the sand and said that they would make a difference in this particular area of housing instability. And that they are a leader in this space, and that now is the time to act like it. Don't come, words are not going to change things. I mean, we got to get real here. I'm like, and this person is also exceptional in their impact. Extremely effective. I'm like, don't let them go back on it. Tell them that's not good enough. Tell them they can handle it. They need to hear it. Somebody's got to say something. Somebody. Because if they're doing it to you and you're extremely effective, what's happening to everybody else? I mean, this isn't gonna fly. Oh, no. The people who are actually creating real change should be getting more funding. And maybe that's a controversial take. Don't let them back down. Not without a fight. Not without something. Not without, hey, I mean, it's worth it. It's worth to press in for 2 minutes, for 120 seconds, isn't it? Especially if we're talking about 6-figure, multi-year gifts here. Like, that is what we're talking about. And then it's like, yeah, we are for real. We're not going to roll over. This ain't nothing new. People changing their, oh yeah, I'm going to give you this. And then I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Ugh. Yuck. Don't stand for it. She's like, nah, you said this. You told me that. This is who I believe you to be. Am I wrong about that? Are you not that person? Don't go talking. Don't do it. I'd rather you just don't talk. Don't do it. Don't talk around us, y'all. Because if you start talking, I'm going to start hearing it. And I'm going to hold you to it. What an amazing partner to have.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Thank you for the great question. Yeah, that's good. We'll see what happens, right? We don't know.